Excuse me, I've lost my voice. So my name is Kiva Nelson. I live in Stillwater. I'm here tonight basically because of the experience that a lot of us had last week. The complete lack of outreach for the students, families, and teachers that were struggling to say goodbye to their beloved schools. I'm an eternal optimist, and I really hoped, I kept checking Facebook, I kept checking the Pony News, for something recognizing the achievement and history of Withrow Marine and Oak Park, the generations of students that had gone there, the amazing teachers. Yet as the doors closed, we were met with silence, and it was really disheartening, especially because the board really pushes for, taking the high road and being kind and working to fight for all kids. It honestly felt like a pretty big slap in the face, if I'm being honest. So I was waiting for some gesture that while the board members that have voted to close the schools, obviously you still believe in your decision, but at the end of the day, you were still feeling beholden to all of us, and you still wanted to show us that you cared. That obviously didn't happen. We got a sentence, and then kind of a passive-aggressive response to our outcry, and then it was deleted, and that was basically the only thing that we saw that week. For a while on the school board agenda, there's been a singular line item, heal the community. It was always there, and it was always skipped over. Usually there wasn't enough time, but I always noticed it, and I always felt like there should be a question mark there. And it felt like an empty gesture. And then eventually it was removed, and it was no longer on the agenda. And I realized that you started closing our school pretty early on when you made us feel shameful when we were bragging about our blue ribbon status. And that was just really hurtful too, and that was really unkind. So as the school year ended, I waited. Where was the mention of all of our amazing teachers and support staff who have spent years making these schools cherished learning environments and social hubs? Where was the post thanking the teachers that are retiring from our schools? There are many. Many of them have chosen to retire earlier because they didn't want to get into the back of the line and have to apply for jobs at other schools. Where is the post bragging about the history of Marine? This school has been around before the state was incorporated, and there was not one mention of that. The fact that these schools shared a principal and support staff and yet still managed to be amazing? Nothing. I'm not asking you to add that line item back onto the agenda because I feel like it's not even something that we can begin to address right now. So I'm starting to worry about the fall, when these students that have been torn away from their school enter their new schools. What is your transition plan then? Will it be silence then? These kids have gone to elementary school, and the first thing they do when they walk in the door, there's someone that knows their name, a nurse that knows their health, a lunch lady that knows what they like to eat, and they are walking to a school where no one knows them. And kids don't want to hear this right now, but school's coming up, and it really better end up on the agenda because I would like to be a part of that conversation. And since I wrote this speech, I realized I was told that 3 of the board members did visit the school and bring them food and share that time with them. And I know that it was also very hard, so I wanted to acknowledge those board members for making that day easier. But your silence speaks volumes. And regardless of the tumultuous year and a half that we have had, I am really sad that you weren't showing any pony pride when it came to Withrow Marine and Oak Park, because honestly, you really should be proud.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Carl Blondin.